Eric Burles says that Lue Elizondo is in town and he is working on something. We've got that and a lot more to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with the Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this is per Matt Laszlo from Askapole. He said, we did have Lue Elizondo today. He was in town for the Conservative Opportunity Society breakfast with the representative Ralph Norman. It was really good. Burleson exclusively tells Askapole, those guys, from what they presented, of course, this is not in a secure setting, they're not under oath, but what they presented is very similar to what David Grush was presenting. Wow. So it sounds like Lue Elizondo may know something about UFO crash retrievals, maybe reverse engineering. Does he know anything about shoot downs or beings held in captivity or even just bodies, biologics? What does Lue Elizondo know? Many have always wondered that. I have certainly always wondered that. Has he been read into deeper aspects of the program? Clearly he knows stuff he can't talk about that because he'll up front and say that. He'll say, he'll say the truth whispers. But what exactly does he know? Well, it sounds like he knows some of the same stuff that David Grush knows. Very intriguing. I can't wait for Lue's documentary, his book. Lue's gonna, I think, hit 2024 in a big way later this year. Bonus intrigue, says Matt, from Eric Burleson. He says, I'm working on it. Right now, I've got something up my sleeve. I don't want to talk. I'll keep you informed because I got a big thing that I'm gonna announce. Now, I'm assuming that's UFO related since it's following that quote from Lue Elizondo, but it could also be related to the whole Mike Turner situation because he also comments on that. Either way, super intriguing, guys. Super intriguing. Okay, here we go. Jack Sarfartti is going to come up a couple times today. He's throwing some shade on the Soul Foundation for one thing. Per Richard Geldreich, new tweet from Dr. Jack Sarfartti with the subject regarding Soul Foundation videos. He says, that's why Gary Nolan did not invite me, because he knew correctly I would expose, 1, their cluelessness about the physics, e.g. Knuff, how do you say that? Knuff, Puthoff, Alexander. 2, fundamental dishonesty in pandering to SALT and other potential funding sources by many of these same people who were part of TTSA. This is Ron Pandolfi's beef, if I correctly understand his crooks and loons comment. Do I, Ron? And then we have this quote. It says, Dear Jack, I sat through 2 days of soul talks. The speakers all support a government cover-up. Most of them know better, but they will feed the masses. So BS so that they can remain insiders. Shame. Yeah, so that's not great. That's not great. So yeah, I that's from Russell Targ of all people, who I like a lot, and he's a very interesting figure in some of this stuff. I would love to know what Russell Targ knows. But there you go, Jack Sarfartti, with a little help from Russell Targ, throwing shade on the Soul Foundation and Gary Nolan. Obviously, I don't know who's right or who's wrong. I really think very well of Gary Nolan and all the people at Soul, so I don't think they're part of the cover-up. But at the same time, I take Jack and Russell pretty seriously, so let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, we have an update from James Fox. He says, a quick update from the bunker. We are on schedule to have a rough cut by the end of March, early April, 85 plus edited minutes. I'm quite pleased with the cut so far. This has been a lot of work and a lot of behind the scenes wrangling from the sounds of it. Poor James. He also adds, as with all my previous films, I target a more mainstream, uninformed audience. I try and present the information in a digestible fashion, but each time I push the envelope just a little bit more, and this will be no exception. I can assure you there will be plenty of new crazy material for everyone. Well, I sure hope so, James. At the same time, I really appreciate your mainstream approach. Back when I was first getting into UFOs, your movie Out of the Blue made a huge impact on me, and it really helped me, reconcile the, UFO reality into my own worldview. And, and that's because it was such a mainstream approach. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. Just the nuts and bolts facts in any case. And I think that is really important to engage the mainstream. At the same time, I would love to see James tackle, standalone subjects in more depth and more nuance to really get at the meat of this stuff. Without having to worry about the mainstream. So I would love to see him alternate between one and the other. Maybe you could say that he's been doing that with Moment of Contact and The Phenomenon, one for a more mainstream, more for maybe a less mainstream audience, right? Somebody that's actually ready to hear about, live beings running around, as opposed to just, the more of the ships and saucers and military involvement. So anyway, but there you go. There is an update for James. He's getting it done, and it's going to be ready soon. Meanwhile, one of the Nazca mummies, Petra, was intercepted in Brazil. He never made it to Russia, according to Nazca mummies. And here in 2017, a DHL employee leaked that Petra had an attempted shipment to Russia, showing photographs that were taken before packing the body, also gave details of the corrupt way to send assets from Peru to other countries. So far, this would be the clearest evidence of Petra. So are these the only images that we have of Petra, which looks like one of the human-sized Nazca mummies? And, similar to Maria. Sure looks like it. Even has a similar face shape. Another mummy being intercepted. They say it's going to Russia. Does that mean it's going to a private collector, or is it going for study? Because the book that I read about the Nazca mummies was written by a Russian scientist. So I know there are science people in Russia that are interested in this subject. So I would love more information about that. But yeah, they seem to be having a hard time getting these bodies out to get studied, and a lot of the people in Peru itself won't study them, so some of them have to be taken out of Peru in order to get studied. Either way, frustrating situation. But we do have the hearing in Peru coming up, so there do seem to be some sincere individuals looking into the Nazca mummy issue there, and I can't wait to see what they find. Okay, back to Jack Sarfartti. He says that mantis beings and greys came from the future. This is replying to a post from Vlad the Alien. The latest intel from the sources I trust indicates that mantid insectoids and their genetically engineered greys are cryptoterrestrials. Their true origin is unknown, but their presence on Earth is ancient and predates human species. They have a large number of bases and colonies underground and possess extremely advanced technology, anti-grav, teleportation, space-time manipulation, telepathy, and psychic abilities. They are the ones involved in abductions and secret agreements with governments. The scariest part is that they are a predatory hive mind species and consider humans to be their property. And it goes on. I'll let you read it at your leisure. I'm not super familiar with Vlad the Alien. I don't know about his information, but I do know that Jack Sarfartti is saying, not so fast, they come from the future. So I don't know about either of those claims. Time travel does come up in the research sporadically, and that really makes a lot of this troublesome, right? Because exactly like what this point is, toward. If these beings are here, we don't know if they evolved here naturally or came from outer space, or if they came from some other time. which is, I suppose, possible, then it makes getting to the truth of all this so much harder to understand. But yeah, I thought I'd throw that out there. However, I do have to add here that many experiencers have positive interactions with the mantis beings. Some even have familial relationships with these beings. One experiencer called the mantis being that she was working with predominantly, he called her Ma or Mother. So it's not like these beings are negative necessarily. And there are actually, a lot more positive encounters that I've run across with the mantids than negative. And, all these beings, there seems to be a spectrum of negative and positive. But they seem, even though they look spooky, to be more on the positive side. Of course, we need more data. But I wouldn't necessarily be fearful of the mantids. The best information I have is that they are higher dimensional beings that manifest into our reality in this shape for whatever reason, but that's not necessarily their native shape anyway. And the Nordics also have been seen working with the Greys, so it's not exclusively the mantids, although the mantis beings do seem to be the overlords or the masters of many of the Greys. Also, because it's something of a slow news day, I thought I'd share this Reddit post for you. This comment was kind of struck me as interesting, and I thought I'd share it. My neighbor who was working at NASA threw a party last year. We were invited. He got drunk and told me and my father that we have been working with aliens on space missions since the 1950s. They are teaching us and leading some of these space missions with our crew members. And I like this because it works well with the Don Phillips and other information from whistleblowers from Area 51 and Lockheed Martin that talk about during that time period in the late 50s and early 60s that we were working with the beings and they were helping us with technology. A training device that Don Phillips talks about to enable our pilots to learn to fly UFOs. As well as probably other technology as well. Were we going off-world with them at that time? Was NASA involved in that at all? I don't know if NASA had anything to do with that, but I do think it's possible. It's totally possible. They've been covering stuff up since then. So are they just covering stuff up, or are they involved? Right? That's kind of the question with NASA. But getting back to the post. I asked him to tell me their origin. He said they are 4D beings who are very close to human vibration levels. They can transfer their consciousness into a 3D physical matter. And our soul also goes to 4D plane when we die, but the vibration levels would be higher. Next day, he came and told me I was drunk. What I said was not true. After he left, I noticed a black SUV parked outside my driveway and left after 10 minutes, never to come again. Take all of that with a huge grain of salt. I mean, just a whole big old salt shaker. I mean, it's Reddit, guys. It's Reddit. But there did seem to be enough truth in that comment to share with you, and it may or may not shed some light on NASA's involvement in all this. Meanwhile, check this out. This is pretty cool. Just a guy and a chimp hanging out. And watch this. The chimp actually helps him. Help me up.
Go boy, fist bumps.
Yeah. I love it. Last but not least, check this out from Pravda.ru. Mysteries under the ice. Discovery of ancient settlement in Antarctica causes excitement in the scientific world. Archaeologist discovers thawing ancient city in Antarctica. The researcher announced a fascinating find, the discovery of an ancient city in Antarctica. According to him, satellite imagery data indicates that the ancient settlement began to protrude from under layers of permafrost and ice, likely as a result of climate change. The scientists provided photographs in which you can see structures resembling pyramidal shapes and patterns similar to those found in the streets of ancient cities. A specialist in satellite archaeology conducted a survey of the area where NASA astronauts previously discovered a huge underground cavity going to a depth of about 300 meters, located near the Thwaites Glacier. Despite the assumptions, the study requires confirmation and authentication by recognized professionals and organizations. NASA officials have not yet commented on the matter. The veracity of such allegations is seriously questionable. Really? Of course, anything that NASA says about this is also questionable. Basically, Pixar didn't happen, and they better be some pretty good picks too. But there you go. There's a developing story that just came out from Pravda about an ancient city under the ice in Antarctica. Is it a human city? Is it an alien city? Is it a penguin city? I don't know. I don't know, guys. But it's a juicy story, and I do hope more details come out about it. We could be looking at some mountains of madness sort of things. I don't know, but let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. Facebook and Twitter links are below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.